Okay, episode 9, The Getaway. And the second to last one of these. This is going up a little late because been traveling. What is it? It's Wednesday already. So tomorrow night we're going to get the finale. And right now you're getting my thoughts about episode 9, which a lot of easy stuff to talk about. Juliet causing more trouble. Also, what I love about this is the revelations in this episode are really happening to these characters. It's stuff that we've known and we're dying for other people in this show to know. But do we really want them to learn these things? If we think about where Juliet ends up in this episode, it's the same place that Allison ended up. And what happened to Allison? What happened to George? Anybody who discovers this secret, bad things happen to them. So it's just strange tension in this first season of Silo that we want people we care about to learn certain things, but when they learn those things, they die. So why do we want them to know the truth? Kind of makes you go back and maybe rethink Holston's stance of living in ignorant bliss, and that's I think the tension, that it's a bigger metaphor really, that um, ignorance is bliss, but no one really wants to live like that, and I don't think we should live like that. I think we should be able to have like really difficult truths that we can incorporate and find a way to be at peace with. There's a lot of those, a lot that we could talk about. Um, one of the little scenes I love in this episode, Paul Billings is so fleshed out and brilliantly portrayed in the show compared to the book, where he's there and he's likable and he plays a huge role, one of the biggest roles really in the whole novel, in determining the outcome of that book. But in this show, we get to see a lot more of what makes him tick. And I love the scene of him telling his wife about, he's like the gentlest guy, right? The Paul that we've gotten to know. And he's telling his wife about punching this kid who also had the syndrome. And there's a very much a like closeted gay vibe with that scene. The a kid recognizing something secret about another kid and wanting to share that secret between them, and one of them being so ashamed of it that they lash out. And then if you think about what Billings does with his life, he goes into judicial and is such a devotee of the pact, which is the book that tells him he can't have this job and that there's something wrong with him. I hope people can pick up on some of these metaphors for, what religious books that just say you have to believe this no matter what can do to people when, and how they can turn on themselves and others like them because of the severe punishment that we inflict on people for just having something that's slightly different about them. Anyway, there's a lot going on there that I hope people can dig into and dive into, because it's a lot more than just, this made up syndrome and Paul having a hard time with his job. There's a lot going on there. I just saw my friend Torben Berger from Germany say hello in the chat. Hey, Torben, he's been a huge fan of the series since the self-published editions were coming out. Probably owns I think he has a better collection of these books than I do. Maybe one of the best collections in the world of Wool and Silo stuff. So that to me is like one of the coolest scenes in this episode. And I really love the two guys that Juliet's with at the end. That scene of the three of them is so good, and the getting the video from George and her learning, him being honest with her and saying like, look, I was there to use you, but then I fell in love with you. And I know that's appeared in other stories over the years, that idea that like, I was planning to betray you, but then I fell in love with you. But I it's so believable, and it's such a part of George's um, character and adventure in this show, and the huge effect that it's going to have. I think also the fun thing to look at here in this episode is you can see that Holston didn't really have a discrete plan. Like, he did not know that Juliet was going to find this and then that and then this, and that everything was perfectly laid out for her, which I think people expect that, it's supposed to be masterminded and neat. But when you do that, it takes the agency away from a character like Juliet. Like, what Holston planned was that he was going to give her this badge, which was going to get her into places, literally in some ways when she's picking locks, and figuratively in others when she's flashing it, even though she's wearing her own, which is very deliberate. All of these little touches. All he knew was that she wanted the truth more than he did, that she reminded him of Allison, and he thought, if I hide these dangerous things, which, like the hard drive, he had no idea what's even on there really. He just knew he's not technically savvy like Allison, but he knew it was this red level relic, this kind of thing that you can't have from before the rebellion, and he put them in places he thought no one would look. I think the most brilliant hiding place was with the last of the Flamekeepers. He hid it with someone who everyone else thought was a secret. The bad guys thought that she was their secret. So why would they go look there? I thought that was really clever. But all he knew was, and so the path that Juliet took is not necessarily the path that she had to take. There's probably 20 different ways that she ends up in the same place. And that leaves her the agency that makes her character interesting. If she's just following a series of breadcrumbs, then the plot is on rails, and that's no fun. It might be interesting as a puzzle box for some viewers, but not the kind of story we wanted to tell. We wanted Juliet to have agency. And so now we're at the end of that hunt that's been going on for 4 episodes now, and we see Juliet get to the same place that Allison was. However, and if you've seen the teaser on IMDb, I won't tell you exactly what's in there, but Apple put out a little teaser on IMDb for the next episode. I think it's the first scene in the episode, so it's not spoiling a whole bunch if you watch it. But what Juliet does with the same knowledge that Allison had is very different, and that's going to change the course of events. Not only that, the allies that Juliet has, the connections that she's made with people throughout the silo, is her salvation. And I think that's the cool thing about her character journey, is that she's this irascible person who has a really hard time connecting with people. And despite that, people who appreciate her work love her. And that will be the difference in this next episode. So it's just tomorrow night for those of us who watch this on Thursday nights. And can't wait for you to see it. And I'm going to have a hard time this next year keeping my mouth shut about season 2, because it's going to blow your minds. All right, that's it. Let's see what else. Hope people are excited they got into. Yeah, I don't tell people about these videos. So if you're commenting, it's because you're a subscriber and you get a little notification. So almost no one knows about this. But Christopher, John, TT, Torben, thanks for joining. And hope you guys enjoyed the finale. Really enjoyed watching it along with you guys, and super looking forward to it. Hope you've enjoyed these silly little videos. I'll have a lot more thoughts. We can discuss this stuff a lot more coming up. We'll be doing an interview with Tumblr, answering some of your questions. So get your questions in on my Tumblr account today if you can, because that interview is going to be in just a few hours. And then it'll come out, I think, in a couple of days. Doing an AMA in the Reddit, the Silo subreddit, on Sunday. And I think we're working on a Twitter Q&A as well for your questions. So lot to discuss after the finale, and then a lot to look forward to with season 2. All right, peace.